Hello, friends and enemies. It's me, V. As you can tell, I took my little thing off. My hair, it's red and blue vibrancy. Um, let's cut to the chase. Yesterday was a shit show. I woke up, was gonna get ready to go to work, drop off my library books, do a bunch of things. Instead, I got immediately dizzy, nauseous, and then I puked. I puked so hard that the stomach acid went into my tonsils, and I could feel my tonsils burning as I continued to puke. Every so often, I would get a burst of energy, and I would try to force myself to wash dishes and try to make food, and then I'd have to sit down for 20 because I just felt dizzy and I felt lethargic. I've been awake since 4, mainly because emergency snow parking. I can't park in my area. I had to move my car and wasn't able to park until 7 o'clock. So I've been up since 4 because I couldn't sleep, and then got my car, drove it around, then parked it, and I've been up since then. So right now it's 8:57. Wanted to put this out real quick. I'm going to post this while I'm going to sleep, and everything should be good. Now, here's what you need to know. I'm going to talk about obesity in terms of 2 documentaries that I saw, as well as some other videos. This is my 3rd time doing this video, so again, the thoughts and opinions are of my own. They are not the thoughts and opinions of my past jobs and my current jobs. People that I do mention, I am mentioning them simply because they brought up some really good points or things that you should know. Also, documentaries that I'm putting out there for you to watch. Just so that you know, one of the documentaries that I am going to talk about, it is dealing with death and being obese. So if you don't want to watch or if you don't want to talk about that, you should probably click off. But that's essentially what I'm talking about. Death and how we die and being obese and dying. Okay? So let's do it. I watched Obesity, the Postmortem. I had seen that documentary in 2017, I believe, and it fucked with me. But then I forgot about it. And I watched it 2 days ago and went, oh my gosh, this is really fucked up. Holy shit. And I had to stop it and stop it every so often because it's very visceral. Why is it visceral? I'm glad you asked. Because they are dealing with an actual body. They are taking a body, a human cadaver that was obese. This woman was in her late 60s. She was 5'4.5", 238 pounds. So 5 feet 4. She was 5 feet 4 inches and a half, my height. And she was 238 in her in her early 60s, from what I remember. She ended up dying from heart disease, they said. She had donated her body to science, and science wanted to figure out, hey, what kind of things were going on before she died. And they start to deconstruct her body. So they're cutting it with a scalpel. One of the things that I will say that really messed with me was seeing the fat as they cut into the actual body. And the medical examiner does say, like, hey, typically when we cut into a body, there's a little bit of fat. It's normal. There's a little bit of fat. But, in a morbidly obese body, there's a lot of fat. And we have to be careful because as we're cutting through the fat, our scalpels start to get, it's greasy, it's harder to cut, and you have to have a precision. And if you're not careful, you could cut yourself. So already your body is going to become a hazard to somebody else who is trying to figure out how you died to make sure that everything's on the up and up. They then went into her body, took out her organs, showed her body and how her organs worked and everything. And they're like, yeah, she was not using all of her lung capacity. She most likely, like, her stomach, it looks like this, and this is what a normal stomach looks like. This is what a normal heart looks like. It stayed in my brain, and I think you should watch it because it will fuck with you. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I was also watching another documentary, Blood Sugar Rising in America. It's PBS. I know. You're already like, really? Yeah, it's PBS. And watching that messed with me because diabetes is on a rise in America, for those of you who don't know. And one of the things I think people do not think about, myself included. Oh, something's in my ear. I apologize. Something's in my ear. I think one of the things that we do not think about when it comes to diabetes and all that stuff is how it will affect you. Because I've heard so many people say, well, I'm young and... Or, I'm sorry, they don't say I'm young. What they say is, I'm healthy at any size, blah, blah, blah. But they're failing to understand the reason why they aren't having the issues is because they're young. When you get to a certain age, all of a sudden, everything starts to hit you all at once. Me, for example, 30s. My 30s, when I first turned 30, I started to feel my hips start to do weird things. My knees, I started to feel it as I would bend down. I've been exercising, or at least trying to exercise more during this whole quarantine. And I had a doctor explain to me years before, previously, like, when I was like, I think 18 or 19, he said, "Ooh, your hips, they're kind of messed up. Like, your hips should be a certain way, and your hips, it's, your hips aren't straight." And I didn't go back to the doctor. Looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, I can see where I fucked up, because when I was doing these exercises, the way they had it is I was supposed to not get down on my fours, but they want you to kind of like drop and use your hands and crawl into a plank and then crawl from the plank back up. I tried doing it and I realized that I have overcompensated with my hip by turning my hip outward because my stomach is in the way, and it's been in the way for a while. I've turned my hip outward to get into that plank and get back up, and now it's really starting to bother me. Add to the fact when I stand straight and I force myself to stand straight, I notice that my right hip, it is fucked up to the point where and I'll show you right now what I mean. Like right now. Okay. If you can't tell, my hip did an actual swivel, and right now I'm looking, my right hip, I've popped it up, and as a result, it's up. I'm in pain right now, but my left leg is straight, and right now my right is just popped up because it feels weird to be straight with my body. I'm not straight in real life, but even then, it's this hip is fucked, and I'm probably gonna have to have surgery. I'm 34 and I'm gonna have to have surgery on my hip because I've put abuse on it with me being 236 pounds and now 221.8 pounds, which is not good. Also, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So when I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, that's insulin resistance, add to the fact that I'm more likely to get diabetes, have a heart attack, a stroke, cancer. And I also have family members in the family who have died from cancer, stroke, diabetes, and cancer. Wait, cancer, stroke, diabetes, heart attack. Words. Again, up since 4. All that shit has happened, and it fucking sucks. And those are the 2 documentaries that I really feel like people should watch just to see what could happen. Insulin is very expensive. Too fucking expensive. There was the dude who made insulin, made a patent so everybody could, get insulin. And for whatever reason, companies are like, let's jack up the prices. Why would I jack up a price? I may kill my patients or the people that are my consumers. I don't know about you, but from a logical standpoint, I'd put it cheap. So then that way I always have like a group of people that want to buy from me because I'm cheap. Do it to a point where they can pay for it. I still make money because now I have a mass group of people who are like, ooh, awesome. But I don't jack up the prices. That's one thing I learned when I was selling candy in the 3rd and 4th grade. You make your prices to where you can make a profit. I would buy candy bags, for example. I would buy a bag of candy, and I would put things at 5 cents. Now, my bag of candy cost me $4, but it gave me 100 different items. 5 cents. Wait, was it 4? No, it wasn't $4. Now that I think about it, it wasn't $4. It was 100 plus pieces of candy. And depending on the candy, I would be like 5 cents or 10 cents, which was cheaper than the dollar store and the gas station. People would buy from me. And I learned then that I can make money. If I put it cheap enough to where I still make a profit, I got customers for life. I don't understand this whole let's rip off the patient, because if I'm ripping off my consumers, guess what? They could either die, which means I lose out on more profit, or something else could happen where they may say, fuck it, and then they're not buying as much. If I want you to buy a lot, then I'm going to make sure that I still get in my profit, but it's easy enough where you go, oh, wow, cool, awesome, I can afford this, and you keep coming back. Common sense, people. I don't understand why the insulin companies haven't caught up to that way of thinking, but I digress. Obesity and diabetes go hand in hand. I also was watching some videos. Ask a mortician, dying fat, your funeral options, where she listed like, hey, this is what happens when you die. She also had a video on advanced directives, so you can tell your family what you want done. If you slip into a coma, God forbid, during COVID and other times. She didn't say COVID, but obviously we're in a pandemic. But those are things you need to think about. I also saw a video by Obese to Beast. I'm going to link down him and the article where he was talking about the article from CNN, which was, we've put all this focus on, fitness and this and that and blah, 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 and you have to lose, weight, but you can still eat shitty. And then they found out after testing some people in Spain, like, hey, if you are obese, even though you're exercising, your heart health still sucks ass. You have to eat well as well in order for your heart health to improve. And I'm going to put that out there, link for that. There was a bunch of other stuff I was going to talk about, but it's 12 minutes. I got to go pee. So I will talk to you guys later. And as always, fuck Tom Brady.